Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of Revive Outdoors. Today I wanted to show you how to clean your turkey in the field. I'm obviously in my garage showing you all of this, but this is exactly what I do when I'm out in the woods. So you're going to need a Ziploc bag so you can put all of your meat in it. I'm going to show you how to pluck the beard. I'm going to show you how to get your spurs off of it. I'm going to show you how to do the fan. And then I'm also going to show you how to get the wings in case you want to display those. If you're in the woods right now watching this video, congratulations. So excited that you tagged a bird, but let's dive into the steps to help you know how to process it. What I'm going to do first is just start by plucking off the beard. All you have to do when you pluck off the beard is simply put your thumb and your finger around it and then just pluck it off. It's very simple. It peels off just like that. And you can see it has that there at the end. So it holds it all together so you don't have to worry about messing up your beard. And then you're simply going to take and start by finding this point of the breastbone here that's usually going to be worn off where they roost. They set that on the tree limb when they're roosting. But you're just simply going to cut that. And you can see as I cut it, it starts to open up. And one of the main things that people are worried about is messing up messing up the meat. So as long as you don't push down too hard, you're going to be good. But I'm going to just simply run my knife straight down through here and just cut very simply. And then I'm going to run it just along here and cut along the top of the breastbone on this side. Then you're simply just going to pull away the cape from the breast. And this is a bow shot, so you can see it's a little bit more exposed right here at the breast than it normally would be. And I'll show you the other side when we get to that point. But you want to pull away. If you're having trouble gripping, all you got to do is grip and then just slightly cut away. You want to make sure you don't want to cut into this pink part because that pink part is going to be the actual breast and you don't want to mess it up. But once you get some leverage, then you simply just pull along the breast, and you can see on this side it's a lot cleaner than the other. But I'm going to take each of these legs. This one is already broken, so I'm going to take and I'm just going to push down. You can hear it break a little bit, but that's going to open up your bird. I'm actually going to grab this bone right here and go ahead and push it down as if it were still together. But that way you have it there nice and open. You can go ahead and cut a little bit away right there if you want to, but you're basically just trying to expose this breast as easy as you can. And then again, if you're not getting the leverage that you need, you can always use your knife if you need to. But one thing I wanted to point out here is on the breast, you can see it makes a V, and you're gonna make sure you do not cut into this. This is what's called the crawl, kind of like the stomach of the bird. So you cut that, it's going to stink, and you have the possibility of anything coming out of there into your meat. I've got a pretty good bit of feathers on this bird because they're getting all over my hands because the day it's wet. Very easy to clean this after you're done. But once you have the breast exposed, all you're going to do is take your knife and you're going to slide it just ever so slightly. You're going to press up against that breastbone that's running right here. So you're going to press up against it. You're going to run it down through here, and then I actually will run it around, and then I'm going to run it down that side of the breastbone as well. And then you're going to just take your fingers and kind of work it back in there. And if you're getting resistance, you just got to cut a little bit more. But you can see as you cut into that, it'll actually start to kind of peel itself off. And then once it starts to pull itself off, you can get your fingers back in there and start to pull. And then if it's holding, you just simply cut a little bit more away. But this side's giving me a pretty hard time because it's all cut up from the arrow. So I'm going to switch over to the other side here in a minute and show you how smooth this should be going. Even though it's not going as smooth on this side where that arrow has went through this bird. So if it's me, any of this red that's got blood on it, I'm going to personally just cut that away so I don't have to worry about it. And then you're just gonna run your knife back up in there. I'm just gonna try to cut all that bloody part away because that'll have a really gamey taste to it. Point out on this breast is you can see how it's just filled with blood. That's just not going to taste good. So you can take and just run your knife down that until you start getting it cleared up and you can get all that out. I'm not going to do that for this portion of the video. I want to move the camera around to this side of the breast. Reason being is this is going to be a lot easier than the other side because it's just not as tore up from that arrow. You just kind of run your fingers down the bone right here and you can actually just peel that breast away. And if you get met with any resistance, you can obviously slice it away there as well. But it's very simple to do. I'm just making sure I don't get into the stomach. So you just kind of want to be careful, but they're always really easily held together. And then on this bottom side, you can do one or two things. You can pull and tear, or you can just run your knife straight down through there as it's pressed against that bone, and then run your fingers back and peel it off. But there you go, you have the whole breast. You can pick out the feathers, clean that up. Just showing you in the field what I would do. Kind of a messy job, not the best in the world, but you're going to have some inner part of the breast as well that you can take out. That already looks like it's a chicken finger ready to be eaten. But what I'm going to do here now is I'm simply going to cut down the leg, similar to that I cut down the breastbone earlier. And so you just want to peel that back. And that way you're exposing all of that leg meat. You want to just kind of keep pulling it on down. And then you can do one of two things here. You can go ahead and chop it off. For me, I'm not too worried about the cut, so I'm going to pull it off just like that. And so you can see how much of that leg meat is exposed there. So you take this and you just rotate it off. Some people I've seen leave these whole and cook them. That's just not my style. But you're going to just feel where all the bones are as you work your way down through there. And you can just simply pull it away or cut it away. And then just try to get as much of that meat off as you can. There's a lot of little strands of, I guess it would be like ligaments that run down through the turkey. All right, so one thing I wanted to note on the leg here is a lot of times people, you can work through and get a lot of this leg meat off, but if you feel in here, there's like these little ligaments, almost like bony type, they have almost like a bony type feel. So you want to just kind of just slowly work your way through this leg and get a lot of meat. A lot of people use this for like a pot stew or doing something in the crock pot. You can leave the leg whole and cook it up. Just know that when you go to eat it, it's going to have a lot of those ligaments and possibly even some bones in there that are fragmented. So just be careful as you eat through it. But that's another option, or you can take through and go through like I'm doing and just pull every little bit of meat off. And then for your fan, all you're simply going to do for the fan is you are going to follow it down to the base of the feathers, and you're going to feel a little knuckle. And on that knuckle, you're going to feel 2 points on each side. And then you're going to run your knife just around each of those points. And then what that's going to do is that's going to release your fan, and then you're going to have this meat exposed. But a lot of people will clean this up right here, and they will get borax powder and they'll pour all over that. One thing is, don't leave this meat as is, just out and about. It will smell bad, it'll get maggots in it, and it'll ruin your fan. So that's just one thing. But you can see how we cut it at the knuckles. You're going to have all your pin feathers and your tail feathers completely fine. And then a neat little trick to hanging out your fan for it to dry, so it dries completely like this, is you put that borax on it. But you take these little pants coat hangers. I've actually got 2 fans already on here, so this is 2 separate fans that I have. But you put that borax on it, hang it up, and then it'll dry over time. You can come back and add more and more borax to it, and then once it completely dries out, then you can go back in and through that meat and get it all out. But I wanted to make sure I showed y'all that. And so that's it for the tail fan. And then if you're wanting to use the wings are pretty simple. They're going to be very similar to the fan. You're just going to reach in and you're going to find that knuckle, and there's a little knuckle that attaches, and you can feel it towards the front of the turkey. And if you cut right there inside that knuckle, you're going to be able to get that entire wing out. And then you have your wing if you want to use that for any kind of display purposes there. It's going to be the same thing. You're going to want to clean off all this meat here and then put that borax on it as well. If you are wanting this to dry out extended where the wing is, one thing you're going to want to do is get a 2x4 piece of wood, plywood, and drill through and hold those points in place, because otherwise it's going to naturally fold up just like that, and then you're not going to be able to expand it out and show off that wing like you'd want to. I wanted to show you my turkey mount so you have an idea of what you could possibly do to yours if you wanted to. It's one of my first turkeys I ever killed. I got that plaque off Amazon. On the feet here, very simple, very easy to do. If you're wanting the spurs, you can take this, and I usually will break it. It takes a little bit of force, but I'll break it and kind of bend it back and forth a little bit. If I'm out in the field, this makes it a whole lot easier. And then once you've got that broken off, you're just going to slice the foot, and so you can take that hole, put it in your bag until you get home, clean it a little bit more. Same thing with this one. You can take it and break it. And then you just slice off where it's still holding on there. Okay, so the final part of this video, I want to show you what you need to do for your spurs. So this would be once you get back home, you have access to a saw, something more aggressive than a knife. Again, if you're going to be doing the display that I have on my wall where you display the turkey feet like that, do not do this step, skip this step. But if you're wanting to make it into like a little necklace or start hanging them on a string, this is what you're going to want to do. And so you want to grip it on the side that's easiest to grip, and that's going to be the non-foot side. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of just put my hand against the table here and take this, and I'll saw it off, cut that, and then I'll do the other side. And then you can see how that pulled out there. If it doesn't do that, then you'll want to cut that out. You want to make sure that the top hole and the bottom hole are both cleaned out, and I'll show you that step in a minute. I'm going to do this next one here. And then once you have both of those feet cut off, what I do is I just take a drill bit here and I'll just run it through the holes, and then I'm just trying to get all that gunk out of there to make sure it doesn't stink or anything. And so I just run it back and forth through it, make sure it's all cleaned out, no goop is left so it doesn't smell. And so, well everyone, that is a wrap on our video. So that's got the bird completely breasted out. You've got your leg meat out of there. You got everything bagged up and good to go. You have your fan completely ready to be fanned out and put on display. We even showed you how to do the wing bones. Again, make sure that you put those down with some nails or screws or something to hold those in place. We showed you how to pluck the beard off, and then we showed you how to get your spurs off the bird as well. But just want to say thank you so much for watching this episode of Revive Outdoors. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe down below of this video. That way we can reach more people with our content. But I'm super thankful that you watched this video. I hope it helps you, and good luck in the turkey woods.